have this. This is the heavy duty tripod. This is just the tripod itself, that the head is not on the tripod yet. When you set the tripod down, you want to level it with this level before you begin setting anything else up. Okay. Little bubble there, using the legs to level this tripod. All right. And we have tripod number 2. This is an E&G tripod. This tripod has a level here. However, it does have a half ball head. So you can rotate it to level it out if your sticks aren't level. Okay? So you have some leeway there. What you're doing?
Yeah, so this is a large head. It has a bottom plate that holds it in. It looks kind of like the plate on a ball head, but it's not the same. You can see there's no concave or convex surface here or here for it to adjust on the ball head. That's why leveling your tripod legs is important first. There is a specific way you do this. If you look at this guy right here, this guy needs to line up with this silver right here. So, and it should slot into place, rest like that. You'll know it's slotted into place because it'll sit flush. It's not rocking around. Once it's slotted in flush, you can attach the large hand screw head down here at the bottom, just like that.
Then before continuing, double check, make sure your bubble here is level and your bubble here is level. You should be good. 40 by lens, it's large and it's extremely heavy. All right, you can see that this has a plate here. This plate here is going to attach. The way to remove this plate is to pull that arm out and then slide it out to the side. Okay, again, pull it away, then slide it out to the side. Then this plate, remember the front here, goes to the front here, and it attaches on by screwing it just like any other camera plate would. Match up the holes. Tighten up the screws. You can use a quarter or a dime, either one will work. Now that this plate is tightened up, come over here and slide it on to the tripod. That locks into place. Okay? One key thing to remember always, right here, make sure that this is on red and your tripod head is locked into position before you do this, so you're not fighting. So this is in red. When you want to operate, this will be in green. This is your lock. You see it snap into place? Again, green, flip it to red, move the head, boom, it's in lock. It's not going to go anywhere. A couple other things to know about. This is your tilt tension here. Okay, so when you're tilting, this is actually a tilt lock. I apologize. That's the tilt lock. Okay, don't fight this. If you want to tilt the camera, make sure this is in the unlock position. This down here is the pan lock. You can pan, and then it locks, it doesn't pan. So when you lock down the camera, make sure your pan is locked and your tilt is locked and your tilt main lock is on. All right? Do not try to fight those. They need to be in the unlocked position before you move the camera around. All right. Over here, you can see this is your tilt drag. So you would tighten this up if you wanted your tilt to go slower, and you would tighten this up if you want your tilt to go slower, loosen it if you need the tilt to move faster. On the opposite side, here, you have the pan drag. Okay, again, tighten this up to move slower on the pans, loosen this up to move faster on the pans. All right, put the viewfinder on. There are 2 tabs on the top of the camera. You push them in. You can see that it releases the lock here. Slide that into place, release it. It's locked. Okay? Don't have to shake it really hard. Just check to make sure it's not falling out.
Viewfinder cable, the angled in always goes into the camera head position, which is on the front here. It points, if you're facing this side of the camera, the angled part points to the right. This comes back around. There's a little bit of cable management back here that you can plug this up against and plug this in first, and then we will put that in. The big thing about this cable is don't force it. There's only one way it can go in. If you take a look at it, there's a little, a little lock clip there. And if you look at the receptacle, you can line it up just like that. And it takes a little bit of force to push in, and you're in, and it'll be powered by the camera.
Yep, recorded.
Okay, so to attach your zoom control, right hand side, this snaps into this press lock underneath, and you tighten that down. Then the end goes into the lens. There's only one slot it's going to go into. All right, the focus control over here on the lens, you'll want to make sure that this adapter is on your lens. Okay, if it's not, come see one of the engineers. And the focus control attaches to the arm the same way the zoom controller does. Focus controller will have a square end on it. Alright, and here's the other end. Notice that the two ends, they actually slide inside of the housing. Okay? What I like to do is keep my finger on one end and get this one in on the other end here. There, so once you have that in, I like to tighten this down. Alright. Then on this end over here, rotate the handle till it snaps in. You can see it goes in all the way. So like, see it again? It's there. Rotate the handle, slides all the way in. Gently tighten this down. Please do not strip the threads. It takes me half an hour to re-thread them. And rotate the handle here. Make sure that it is rotating the lens over here on the focus. That's it for that step. Alright, this is a SMPTE connector. Inside the SMPTE connector, you will see two fiber lines. Can you see those okay?
Mm-hmm.
Two fiber lines, two copper lines that are heavy copper lines, and two very small copper lines. The small copper lines are communication and data. Larger copper lines are power, and the two fiber lines are transmit and receive. Alright. Pull the cap off the camera. The SMPTE cable connector here has ridges. These are the locking ridges around the edge of the cable. When you pull back on the ring here, keep your second hand down here so you're not just pulling the whole rubber off of the container. So you want to grip this, pull back until you see the red line, and you'll also see these ridges retract. See the ridges retract? They're out and retracted. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And look here, you can see a little red dash. Little red dash is going to line up with a little red dot on the connector itself. Alright? Installing a cable isn't that big a deal. You line it up. Did I line it up? Yeah. Line it up, and it pushes in until it snaps. Alright? It's connected. Okay? You can no longer see the red line around the edge. If you could see a red line, it's not completely connected. Then, to disconnect, you want to make sure you grip the bottom because this part doesn't move. You don't want the cable to pull out because it'll break off the locking ridges. You want to just hold this in place and you're going to push this ring that's inside the rubber back in this direction. So you pull it back until you see the red line appear. Until you see the red line appear and then it pulls out. It's not fun, but it's important that you don't force it. If you force it, you will break it. If you break it, you get to pay $1,000 for a new cable. Again, pull back, see the red line, comes out. All right? It is going to take a little bit of practice and gentleness to get that. Okay? When you do have this empty line connected to your camera, you want to make sure that the cap on your camera and the cap on the cable go together. This will reduce the amount of dust that collects in these during the game so it doesn't get on the fiber afterwards. Make sure that the camera cable and the camera itself both have their caps fully inserted before bringing them back upstairs so you don't get yelled at. Alright, we're going to go on to the second camera type setup. This of course is a T-plate camera. This is actually a camera plate. Alright, there's difference. This is a camera plate here, and you have to press in on this button on the side to release it. This is a tripod plate. Tripod plates stay with the tripods. Okay, we'll put this, put that in and it snaps into place. Camera plates will stay with the cameras. Alright, so that way if you use your camera on another tripod, you'll have a plate to attach to the tripod. If you have a different camera with this tripod, you have a plate inside the tripod plate. Always make sure these are separated at the end of use. Tripod plate stays in the tripod, camera plate goes with the camera. Alright. Again, super simple. Take the, well, I like to say simple, but I could be wrong. Alright. There's that one. And okay. It's a matter of getting them in the right holes. You want to put both screws in. The reason you put both screws in is so that the camera plate does not rotate on top of the tripod plate. If it does, when you have your tripod locked and you move your camera, it will slide around. So you can see this is not rotating. 2 screws. Slides in, slides in, snaps down. Okay, now it's locked. Again, remember to take it apart, pull the lever underneath, right here, push this button, it finishes, tripod plate clicks out. Okay, goes in. All right. Okay. Base of the camera has a digit here and a V up here with this is the locking point. The locking point gets caught on this locking mechanism here. Release the locking mechanism. Look for the base, slide the base into place. Plate slides forward and locks. All right. That's it. That's how to mount the camera on. If your camera is not balanced at this point, there's a balancing point over here on the side. Loosen this up. You can slide your camera back to a balanced position and lock that down. Once this camera is on, now you can balance it. Okay, you see you have a little balance, little light that turns on for your bubble, excuse me. And then you turn the head once you have the bubble in the 0 position on the leveling bubble. Turn that back on for you. There you go. There's a leveling bubble.